From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Open Line on Wednesday night. I am Ben Hall. Very good show tonight. We are talking about a major problem in Tennessee, one that is affecting far too many people. It is prescription drug abuse. Nearly 5% of all Tennesseans have used pain pills, basically pain pills is what we're talking about, for non-medical purposes, according to the state. That is a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of you out there have stories of friends, relatives, perhaps even yourself, who have become addicted to these things. The state is now doing some major things to try and combat this, and that is what we want to talk about tonight. We are happy to have with us a big group of people, starting with Rodney Bragg, Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Representative Mike Sparks, Republican from Smyrna. Representative, thank you for being with us once again. And Jermon Davis, CADCOR, which stands for Community Anti-Drug Coalition of Rutherford County. Mr. Davis, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about this. Let's lay out the issue here. How big a problem is prescription drug abuse in Tennessee?
It's at epidemic proportions. Approximately 220,000 people are needing treatment for prescription drug abuse, painkiller abuse, and not near that many are getting it. It's bypassed in our data. It has bypassed alcohol as the #1 drug of choice in Tennessee.
Now, there have been initiatives prior to this. We have regulated pain clinics in the state. Are these things working, or are we continuing to see this increase?
Department of Health regulates the pain clinics, and they are starting to see some good positive results. They're holding pain clinics accountable, and there's some great, real positive pain clinics out there. Some people really need pain clinics, but there's others that are maybe a little questionable.
And so what needs to be done in your view?
Well, what the Department of Health is doing is what needs to be done. They're strengthening the regulations around pain clinics. They are going out and visiting with the top 50 prescribers across the state, which many of those come from pain clinics, and holding them accountable. They have to really prove why they need to prescribe so much opiates or painkillers.
Now, Representative Sparks, what are you seeing with this? I mean, how big a deal is this?
Well, I'm glad to hear the commissioner use the term epidemic, and I've heard the governor use the term epidemic, because it is an epidemic. Probably every family in Tennessee has been touched somewhere or another. I know my family personally has been touched by the drug problem. Just today, I just left a funeral just an hour and a half ago, talking to a girl, I guess she was about 19 or 20. It was a friend of mine growing up. He shot and killed himself Saturday, and it was probably, he had a lot of drug problems in the past, and what do you tell that daughter, what do you tell that mother that's burying her child? It's just sad. So many families, I mean, it's law enforcement, school teachers, every walk of life, rich, poor, black, white, Republican, Democrat, and it is an epidemic. And I think one thing, and that's why I applaud y'all for having us up, and the commissioner and Jermon to bring awareness to some of the seriousness of this problem.
And what's happening, and Jermon, you could probably talk to this. It's not, okay, they have a back surgery, and they're prescribed pain pills, and then all of a sudden, a year later, they're addicted to pain pills. They never got off the pain pills. This is affecting people that maybe they aren't who you might think might get addicted to drugs. How is that true, and how is this epidemic different than what we've seen with other drug epidemics?
Well, you have a lot of folks, like you said, surgeries and things. Sometimes they're overprescribed. So let's say you take a certain amount for some pain, things like that, and you have a certain amount of pills left over. And so, a lot of times it's a highly addictive, especially the pain pills. We're talking about, your Oxys, Percocets, things of that nature. Just as addictive, we want to talk about addiction level, those are opiate-based pills, same as heroin. So, and everyone knows how addictive heroin can be. So it's the same exact deal that's going on with that. And that's something we try to stem as a prevention coalition. So, if you are prescribed too many pills, things of that nature, proper ways to dispose of them. We try to educate the community on that. We have drug lock boxes throughout our community. We have prescription drug take-backs, which is in the plan that the governor laid out as well. So, those are different things we try to, combat, as far as pill addiction and things.
It's frustrating to me that, do you think, and maybe any of you can answer this, are doctors, are they overprescribing this? I mean, it is so easy to get hooked on this stuff. And so you go in for a kidney stone and you're given a bunch of pain pills, and then all of a sudden you got a much bigger problem than a kidney stone.
What we know is Tennessee prescribers prescribe the second most opiates in the nation.
So we prescribe second most in the nation. Our doctors do. So why is that?
We don't know. We don't know. One of the things that has happened, the Joint Commission, which is the accrediting commission for hospitals, doctors, things like that, folks like that, tend to, or they've now declared pain as the fifth vital sign. So every time you go to a doctor, they're assessing for pain. Well, we all have pain. And used to be we could take some Tylenol or some Aleve and we could get through that pain.
And even before that, you just got through it.
You just got through it, right.
Maybe we, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
and so, I forget where I was
So
going.
they're asking more than they've ever asked.
Yes.
It's part of the
Yes.
evaluation. They're saying, are you in pain? And doctors apparently are more than willing to prescribe medication to deal with that pain.
And I don't want to be hard on the physicians. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're doing what has been requested of them by the Joint Commission to take care of people with pain. It used to be we underprescribed. And so there were a lot of people in pain that needed some opiates that could not get them.
And then the drug companies, they're making a killing off of this epidemic. Mm-hmm. And they must see that it's not a natural thing for their profits to increase by 20% a year or whatever it is. I mean, what's happening here is the drug companies making a lot of money off these pills, and there are a lot of people addicted and a lot of lives being ruined.
Yes.
And that's a tough thing. What about that?
I had Department of Corrections. I reached out to them, and I was hoping they could come up, but they couldn't make it. But I just had a gut that the female inmate population in the state, I just assumed 200%, 250%. And I went back and researched numbers since 1994. It's increased 325% among just females. So you think, how many kids do those females have? You know, how much financial impact does that have on the state? Loss of productivity. When they had their unveiling at the Capitol with the governor, I was really impressed with that Judge Seth Norman, you know, with the drug court here in Davidson County, and he brought up the economic, just the loss of productivity. I think was about $155 million to the state with the drug problem. You know, a lot of folks don't factor in it as an economic issue. You know,
and so we don't want to, you know, overly attack the doctors. We don't want to overly attack the drug companies. And certainly there is the individual responsibility. But when you see what's going on, and then I didn't know we were number 2 in the nation as far as doctors for prescribing this stuff. You know, where is the responsibility there? And I don't know, do you want to, what do you think? As somebody that you know, talks to people, does it concern you just how easy it is to walk into a doctor's office sometimes and get this stuff?
Oh yeah, and another thing, based on what you were saying about a lot of the drug companies, we do a lot with Comcast as far as promoting, you know, our CAD core and prevention and things, and they told us this had to be a year or two back that, you know, 30% of the commercials on TV are based, you know, pill based, you know, pill companies advertising different things on TV. So it's the whole perception. That's the thing. It's a perception that when I'm talking to people is that, oh, it's a prescription drug, it's prescribed by a doctor, so, oh, it's okay, it's okay. But one of the key words I try to tell people, it's a prescription drug. Yes. It is a drug. So you first need to understand that. And so that's, you know, that's something I did want to throw out there as far as, you know, that's major, 30% of the commercials on TV.
That is major.
Yes, sir.
It's a societal thing.
Yes, sir.
We're surrounded by it. All right, let's go to a call here. Let's go to Tim on line 1. Hello, Tim.
This is Ken.
Ken. Sorry, Ken. Go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Well, I have been to a pain management clinic.
Okay.
The doctors wouldn't listen to me. I slipped 2 vertebrae, and I went to doctors, and they, every time I tell them, I said, when I'm laying down, my back's fine. MRIs and everything else. And one doctor sent me to the pain management clinic. The first thing they wanted to do was give me a bunch of dope.
yes,
I said, man, I don't want your dope.
yes,
I said, all I want to do, I want to fix the cause, not kill the pain. I want to fix the cause. Well, they didn't want to talk to me. But I kept going for a few weeks to do some treatments that they wanted to do. And then talking to people there, 3 out of 5 that I talked to was getting extra pills to sell for themselves. I mean, they're making a profit off of it.
Yeah.
They was getting dope for somebody else to take.
Yeah.
But when I told them I didn't want the dope, they didn't want to talk to me really.
So essentially, what they're wanting to do is mask the problem with pain medication, and there's not a lot of effort, at least in his experience, of trying to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if some of this is solvable. I mean, people live with chronic pain. It's a horrible thing that many people have to live with, and those people, they need medication to get through it. But you know, what do you think when you hear that call?
Well, I had a church member say the same thing. He went to the doctor, he had hip surgery, and the doctor was trying to put him on some pain medicines. Aren't you feeling bad? He was like, no, I'm good. He kept trying to put him on stuff. He's like, no, I'm fine. And he's saying it, you know, and there's got to be a little bit of a profit incentive there, would you say, Commissioner?
I would say
a profit motive there. And how many doctors are addicted? I mean, what's the estimate on that? I mean, is it 20%, 25%? And I don't know what the rate would be. How many nurses are dealing with addiction if they're around this all the time? But I just know that financially the state cannot stay on the path that we've been on. I mean, our prison budget increased $46 million. The state budget itself this year was in a hole $279 million. And then the state, with all due respect to my party, you know, we cut TBI's budget $6 million. So that doesn't seem like it makes much sense. I mean, our prison budget's going this way, and we're cutting law enforcement down here. So it is an epidemic, and you can't continue to what I call legislate and incarcerate your way out of these problems.
Right. That's exactly
Right,
you know?
right. You can't just throw all these people in jail. All right, if you have a story, a loved one, or something that you yourself have experienced along these lines, prescription drug abuse, we'd love to hear from you. There's the number, 737-PLUS, 737-7587. We will take a break. Be back with more after this.